Hello, my name is Roger J, and I'm going to show you how to solve this problem involving equations of linear equations. I took the one that I read and amplified it a little bit. I think this is what the person meant. We're trying to find the equation of the line through the points 4, 5, and -3, -1, and we want the final answer to be in standard form. When I do a problem like this, I like to have a picture to go along with it. So I'm going to draw an XY graph here. That's why I like to use this background that has the grid on it. Okay, we have the point 4, 5. Oops, right under that. See if I can move that. Four, 5, and -3, -1 would be right here. -3, -1 is right here. I want to erase that. And we can draw this line, straight line. So this is the line that we're trying to find the equation for. Now there are several ways of doing this. I'm going to do this by starting with slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form for a linear equation looks like this. It's y equals mx plus b. B would be better. Where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So in order to do this, we have to find the slope. And we don't have the slope, we just have these 2 points. We could find the slope from the graph by figuring out rise and run, but I'm going to use the 2-point formula, which I put up here at the start of the lesson. So the slope is always the difference of the y's, y2 minus y1, divided by the difference of the x's, which is x2 minus x1. It's always the difference of the y's on top, difference of the x's on the bottom. So when I do this, and I'm going to find this slope, I'm going to call it m. We usually use the letter m for slope. I think it goes back to the French or something. So when I do this, I always look for my last y value, and that's my y2. Little 2's and 1's here just mean first point and second point. So my last y is y1, so that's going to be y2, and this one is -1. It's going to be y2 in there, so it's -1, and then it's minus y1, and y1 is the y coordinate of the first point, that's 5. Close that parentheses and divide by. You subtract the x's in the same order, so I'm going to subtract -3 minus 4 to get that. -3 minus 4, writing here. And I want to move that up into that formula, so I'll just select it and move it up. So that comes out to be -1 minus 5 is -6, divided by denominator, -3 minus 1 is -4. Something wrong here somewhere. Let me try this again. Equals -5 minus 1 is -6 divided by -3 minus 1 is -4. Oh, -3 minus 4 is -7. I looked at the wrong one. And of course, I don't need the parentheses there. Of course, that equals positive 6 divided by 7. 6/7 is the slope for this. Just for neatness, I'm going to move that up a little. So the slope is 6/7. Now, it's very important that you get that right because it messes up the whole rest of the problem if you don't get it right. So now that's going to go right in here. I'm going to start with this y equals mx plus b, and that 6/7 goes right there in place of the m. So it's going to be y equals 6 divided by 7 times x plus b. Now b is the y-intercept. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. We can see in the picture here that it's somewhere in here between 1 and 2. And we don't know exactly what it is. What we hope is when we look at these points that one of them has come out to be the y-intercept, but it isn't. It doesn't. Y-intercept has to be 0 something. And so here's what we can do. Pick one of these points. I'm going to use 4, 5, and plug it into this formula in place of x and y. So I'm going to put 5 in place of x, and 4 in place of x, I'd rather, 5 in place of y. So that will give me 6/7. Oh, let's put the y in. So that will give me, go here and write it. That'll give me y is 5 equals 6/7 times x, which is 4, plus b. So this equation is just all letters, numbers, except for the b. So we can solve for b. Let me write that over again. I'll do a little math here. So it's going to be 5 equals 6/7 times 4 is 24/7 plus b. So b equals 5 minus 24/7. There should be a plus sign up here. Here's a little arithmetic problem that we run across a lot of times when we do this. We have to subtract this mixed number or this improper fraction from 5. There are a number of ways of doing it, and one of them is to change this 5 to 35/7 and then get 24/7, and so they have the common denominator, and you can subtract them. I usually use a little shortcut here. When I do this, and just say equals, and I multiply the 7 times the 5, that's 35 minus 24. So 35 minus 24, and put the whole thing over 7. And of course, that equals 11/7. And that's the y-intercept. Neaten this up a little bit here. And that is going to go here. That's the B. 11 over 7, if you change it to a decimal, is 1 point something, and that agrees with my drawing there. It looks right. I should also have mentioned earlier, the slope come out positive, 6/7, and the line rises, so that all agrees with things we've learned previously. So now if I put all this together, here's my answer in slope-intercept form. Y equals 6/7 x plus 11/7. And there's the equation in slope-intercept form. Now it turns out that it didn't matter that I used the 0.45. I could have used the point -3, -1, and you get the same value for B. So it doesn't matter which point you use, all the points on that line will give you the same values. But the problem didn't ask for that in slope-intercept form. Usually they do ask for it in slope-intercept form, but this one wanted it in standard form. So let's talk over here and talk about standard form for a minute. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. A, B, and C are numbers. Usually in standard form, they want those to be integers. So if we have fractions, we have to get rid of the fractions. And so we're starting with this slope-intercept form. I want to write it in standard form. So I'm going to see if I can do a little tricky something here and copy that somewhere else. Well, it copied it right on itself. So there's what we're starting with. Now I'm going to divide by 7. I'm sorry. I'm going to multiply by 7 since it's already divided by 7. The common denominator, whatever it is what you're going to divide by. And so I'm going to multiply by 7. 7y equals 6x plus 11. So that's not quite in standard form yet. We have to have the x and y on the same side of the equal sign. So all I have to do is subtract that 6x from both sides. I'll make that negative 6x plus 7y equals 11. So there's the equation in ax plus by equals c form. That's standard form. Perfectly good equation. I'm happy with that answer. But some textbook authors sort of insist that in standard form that the a has to be positive. I guess they think it looks neater if the equation starts with a positive number. And if you want that, you just multiply this equation by -1 both sides, and that will change the signs. So that'll become 6x minus 7y equals -11. And there's our answer in standard form. That's what we were after. There's a completely other way of doing this, well, similar, but another way of doing this. Instead of using slope-intercept form, you can start with point-slope form, and that's a different lesson, which we could talk about sometime. So I stumbled a little bit through there, but I hope this makes sense to you.